You start with your flour. Just cut the end off, the green end off, and you can stick the pipe cleaner right through there. And once you pull it through, you are going to tie a knot. This process will make sure that your flower is secure on your homecoming mem and is not going to fall off the day of homecoming throughout the day. So this is a good part of the process to do first. So you just tie it on and then you pull it back through the middle. And once it's secure, tight in there, you just get your hot glue gun and you go around the knot. And I like to just kind of squish the flour a little bit to make sure that the hot glue is really on there good. And then you're going to tie another knot on the other side just to keep it really secure. And this will keep your flower secure. Once you have tied the knot, you're going to add a little bit more hot glue around the base. And now you don't have to worry about your flower falling apart. Once that's finished, you're going to put your flower on your crown, your completed crown, and just add as much hot glue as you can to make sure that the flower stays. I would even have a little extra hot glue next to you. I've had many times where I run out of hot glue, and as you can see there, I kind of was running out. And pull it tight and push it down against the table just to make sure that the hot glue is stuck to your flower. Once you've done that, it should be all set. You can take the pipe cleaner and just wrap it around the bottom, or you can cut it down if you would like. Once you've done that, you can set that aside and start adding the streamers. The first thing you want to do is make sure you know how long you want your mum. This one is a garter. The process will be the same for a full size, except that on the garter, I just kept it the length that it came in the kit, where on a 36-inch full sized, many times I will cut it down to maybe 30 inches, 32 inches, something like that. A lot of the braids will come in 32, just because there's a lot of waste when people cut it down. So just determine how long you want your streamers to go. And once you've decided, you can cut all of the ribbons down to that size before you start assembling. That'll make it a little bit easier. And what I'm doing here is holding the streamers up to see how they're falling. So you may want to angle a little bit, or you may want them to hang straight. It's up to you. And I like to put one down the middle so that when it hangs, there's not a split at the bottom of your mum. And then just make sure, I like to put them all the way out to the edge If you wanted to use the deluxe backer, there's another video for that that'll show you how to do it. So if you have a deluxe backer, stop right now, go get the wide backer and watch that video first. And then you're just going to fill in the middle. And the way you put them on is totally up to you. I usually like to do the white first and then purple, and always with the widest ribbons first. But there are some mums that I do opposite, putting the purple ribbons on first. A lot of times I will just remove them and place them in a different way. If I don't like the way when I hold it up, if I don't like the way it's hanging, I'll just remove them and do it again. But as you can see, the ribbons hang straight down, so I don't ever put the ribbons sideways where they're gonna come out the side. They always flow straight down. I just like to hold it up and make sure that there's no wide gaps between. But remember, you are going to be adding now these 1.5 inch ribbons, and so they can kind of fill in the gaps as well. If you have not chosen your name ribbon, I would set that aside now, unless you have a loop chain. If you have a ribbon that you're going to put your name on, I would hold the ribbon back for the very end so that you can make sure it's showing and it doesn't end up hiding in the back. On this one, we have a loop chain, so I'm not setting any aside. Now, the next part is I like to lay everything out and see what I like best. So taking all the specialty ribbon, all the braids, loops, anything that you purchased to add on, even the homecoming ribbon, because I want that to show, and just lay it out and play with it until I like the way it looks. Sometimes I even put a staple in it and hold it up to see how it falls. But using the table is a great way so that you don't have to remove staples and risk making holes in the back. This one is pretty full, so there's a lot to play with. But you just may have the loop chain and one braid, which is really nice as well. In our kits, you get to choose what ribbons and braids you use. So I just, when I'm assembling for someone, I just use what they chose and I play with it until I think it looks right. If your braids are longer than the ribbon, you want to make the bottom of the braid level with the ribbons at the bottom of the mum and staple it at the top and just cut off the extra from the top of it. So you staple it really good multiple times so that the braid doesn't fall apart at the top, and you cut above the braid. Then you can start putting your trinkets on. I do the same thing with the trinkets as I do with the braids. I place them on and move them around until I finally like where they are. In this case, there was only one trinket to place really there, and I knew that I wanted it to cover those staples, and I liked it right there. So I didn't have to move around. But sometimes when you have multiple trinkets, and especially on the full-size mum, you will want to move them around, or I like to. It's up to you. You may not be as particular about it, which is fine. And then you have a lot of options with your curling ribbon. You can hang your bells on them if you want the bells. You can just curl them and make them kind of a tighter curl or a looser curl. And I just staple them on to give a little more dimension in the areas that might need a little more dimension to them, where there's might be a flat area on your mum. I like to hang the bells at different lengths, kind of somewhere close to the middle or a little lower than the middle, and then the other one a little longer. But again, this is your mum and you get to decide, so whatever you want to do is great. You can also use curling ribbon to make bows to put at the top of your cowbell or wherever else, whatever you come up with. This mum is your opportunity to be creative, so you don't have to do any of the stuff I've done. You can do it however you like, and I'm sure it will turn out beautifully. I know that at Bernie, bells are not allowed at school, so you will need to tape your bells if you put them on during the school day. You can take it off for the game. Now you'll just put your flour through, the pipe cleaner through, hold it up and see how you want your ribbons, your crown ribbons to fall against the back. Make sure they're covering the sides of the ribbon and that it looks how you want it to look when it's glued on. Add your glue. Again, have another glue close by just in case you run out in this part, because you want to have plenty of glue on the back. And then you want to put that on and then turn it, like make sure it looks right from the front, then turn it to the back and make sure that those are lined up, those circles are lined up. And then push it against the table to really get it on, or just squeeze it together to make sure that it's glued on really well. And then you can add your premium trinket to the middle. Put plenty of glue. Don't push down too hard so that the flower will stay nice, but just hold it against the top of the flower. You just want to take that third circle backer and glue it onto the back just to cover all the staples. And once you do that, you are ready to go. Once the backer is completely secure, just double check the front. Especially if you have a thicker garland, you may have to add a little bit of hot glue to make sure everything on your mum is completely secure. The last thing that needs to be done for the garter is to glue the garter onto the back. Just make sure you put plenty of glue so that it holds